I will never forget the day that I cried in my car between patients, not because of just one thing, but because of everything. Welcome back to the Essential Wellness Podcast with your host, Janice Story, where we make the messy meaningful and take those moments to shape us. So let's glow, grow, and thrive together. Haven't said that in a long time. Feels good. So, real quick, just wanted to let you know that this is for educational and inspirational purposes only, and definitely talk to a healthcare provider if you have any health conditions or concerns before using any essential oils. And if this is your first time here, make sure to go ahead and follow, subscribe, whatever you need to do so you never miss a wellness moment. And if you've been with us for a while, thank you so much for being part of this community, and make sure that you share this with a friend who really needs some inspiration or rituals in their lives. So the day that I sat in my car and just broke, it didn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary. It was a typical day. I was just doing what I always do, going through the motions, feeling that numbness, you know, working as a nurse, taking care of patients, juggling patients, plus having a family and a business, and, having those business calls, meetings, emails, and checking on my family in between. So, on the outside, it looks like I have it all together, professionally, strong, holding everything together, hiding behind that smile. But behind that smile on the inside, I felt exhausted, like I said, numb. My phone kept buzzing with emails. My family, my kids needed me. I have in my mind that my patients also need me. I need to, have great care for my patients. So, somewhere in between all of that chaos, I just disappeared. So, I remember pulling over probably in the middle of nowhere. Um, Actually, I think it was in a parking lot in a small town, and took a deep breath. And before I knew it, I was just crying. I was crying because everything all at once is very overwhelming. I was crying because I felt tired. I was crying because I was literally exhausted. So I was crying because to me, it seemed like everything was just falling apart. And in that moment, I felt I felt like I was failing at everything. Um, my career, my family, my business, and myself. So in my head, I had like a tug of war going on, saying on one hand, like, I can't keep doing this, but then on the other hand, like, I have to keep doing this. So that's that invisible tug of war that many of us live in, like that little whisper that is saying, like, I must, and then it's fighting against, I can't. So in that moment, for me, I feel like I believed that if I admitted to anyone that I felt that way, that meant that I was failing. But I have learned that when you actually admit that you're struggling, because let's just be real and honest, like the struggle is real, right? And that is like the first step on the pathway to healing. So that day, that moment of me crying now, crying in the car, that was not the end. For me, that was like a wake up call. That was like, what do I need to do to rearrange things to carry that load? So, what did that healing look like? Well, obviously, crying now, crying then that day. Like, you know, growing up, I always heard the saying that big girls don't cry. So I stopped apologizing for that. I'm not apologizing. Our tears are a release valve, and it is not weakness. Next, I named that mess. This is too much. And I said it out loud. This is too much. And it was definitely way too much. Then I turned to my anchors, prayer, deep breathing, meditation, you know, simple little rituals, even just like stepping outside for a second barefoot and getting grounded and connecting with nature. And these, of course, are not, miracle, magical fixes overnight, but, they're small little steps that you can use for yourself. For me, these are reminders that I'm human, we're all human, and I'm not just the roles that I play. So, if you have had your own car moment, whether it was in your car, at your kitchen table, in the bathroom, or wherever you find that time alone for you, I want you to hear this, that you are not weak, you are not failing, you are human. Your humanity is nothing to be ashamed of. It is proof that you are fighting. And sometimes that breakdown carries our breakthrough. So thank you so much for letting me share my story with you today. And if this resonates with you, make sure to like, comment, share it with someone who really needs some encouragement today. Together, we can remind each other that even in our messiest messes, we can still have a message. So I didn't realize that I was going to be so emotional for this, and I'm not apologizing for it. And until next time, I'm Janice Story, and this is AJ's Infusions Essential Wellness Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of AJ's Infusions Essential Wellness Podcast with Janice Story. If this message spoke to you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who needs a little extra glow this week. And don't forget, the lip ritual isn't just lip care, it's your 30-second reset. Pair it with pieces from our brand new luxury Glow Apparel Collection, the crossbody bag, echo tote, hoodie, and hydration bottle, designed to carry your wellness with you every day. And until next time, let's glow, grow, and thrive together.